Everyone, it's Asa, and I want to talk about focused learning, which is simply long-term improving by focusing on one aspect of your game at a time. TFT is a really complex game, so it's pretty easy to do a VOD review, be like, oh, I did these things wrong, these things wrong, these things wrong, and then just try to go into your next game and just play a little bit better. This definitely will help you improve. However, the best way to improve long-term is to focus on one thing at a time. I recently competed in a Street Fighter tournament, as some of you guys know. So I was learning that game from scratch, and there's so many different things for me to learn. Uh, but the way I could do it is just in this game, I'm only going to do one thing, and you can take that in TFT as well. So things that I have personally done in my TFT career is rolling, for example. I find that most players tend to either roll too fast and they skip important units, or they roll too slowly and they never skip any units ever, but they might start round 4-2 with like 30 gold still left in the bank. So for me, I tend to be more of a perfectionist, so I tend to be more in the slow camp where I tend to never miss an important unit ever under any circumstance. But sometimes that makes me too slow. So one way that I did focus learning for my roll downs, I actually practiced in hyper roll to go a little bit faster. But basically my goal was for my level 8 roll down, I'm starting with however much gold, 50 gold. My goal is to spend all of that gold, and it's okay if I miss some units. Basically, I did this in hyper roll because first of all, there's less pressure on losing rank. If you lose, it doesn't really matter. But also you can get more reps in faster because the games are shorter. So basically, I would practice this, and sometimes you miss units, but in the long run, it's going to be a lot better to make sure you get your roll down speed fast, even if occasionally you'll miss some units because as long as you're not missing too much, I think it's very, very rare that you're going to miss too many units if you're already a person who rolls too slowly. And surely you're not going to miss any important units. And if it does end up happening, then you can dial it back a bit. But like I said, it's pretty unlikely you'll miss important units. Like, for example, if you're rolling for the emissary comp, you're not just going to roll past an Aesah or a Garen because you're going too fast. You might skip something like a Vladimir or a Rel that you might need, or like a Twisted Fate at first, and that's okay. And like I said, if you're skipping too many units, you can go back. Another drill that I did personally is to improve my scouting, is to make sure that I would scout every single round with 10 seconds left on the clock. So basically, no matter how complicated my turn was, even if it was a really, really hard turn, for example, my level 8 roll down that I was just talking about, no matter what, my goal is that I would scout at least my 3 matchups every single round in the entire game, no matter what. So I would just focus on that, and as long as I accomplished that, regardless of what else happened in that game, it would be a success. And that helped me long term to kind of implement this into my game because um, if you're just again playing TFT trying to improve at everything at once, it's very, very, very difficult and not really practical. You can also do this for like your economy and leveling intervals. For me, I didn't really need to do this because this is more simple, but if you find yourself struggling with the leveling intervals, you can make it your goal to be level 4 on 2-1, level 5 on 2-5, level 6 on either 3-1 or 3-2, 3-1 if you can afford it with over like 40 gold left, and then level 8 by 4-1 or 4-2, depending on how much gold you have, every single game, no matter what. And it's like as long as you accomplish that, this is probably more for lower rank players who are struggling with that. But as long as you accomplish that, then that'll be a success, and you can just focus on one thing at a time. Same thing with meta comps. If you're really trying to learn one meta comp, you can just force it from any spot, uh, and that will give you a better idea of how that comp plays from low rolls, from high rolls, and you can get a good idea of its strengths and weaknesses as well. This is going to wrap up on this video on focus learning. So I hope the couple of examples of drills that I gave, maybe you can use that yourself, and that'll help out. Otherwise, again, when you're trying to improve, it's best to isolate one variable at a time and get good at that first. And then, maybe a week later, you can do something else. If you have any questions, let me know in the Discord, and thanks for watching.